A letter never sent, a father's silence, a son's awakening. Some stories aren't loud. They don't arrive with slamming doors or screaming matches. Sometimes they live quietly, tucked into drawers, left unread until the day someone finds them. This is the story of a man who stumbled upon a letter his father never sent, a letter that unraveled decades of silence and finally gave voice to a love that had always been there but never spoken. My name is Daniel, 38 years old, a high school history teacher, and I've always been what people call emotionally reserved. That's probably because I was raised by a man who believed showing feelings was a form of weakness. My father, John Walker, was a mechanic. A man of few words and fewer smiles. His world was made of wrenches, oil stains, and worn-out boots. He woke up at 5 a.m., worked with his hands all day, and came home smelling like gasoline and silence. I remember being 5, trying to show him a picture I drew at kindergarten. He looked at it, grunted, and said, "That's nice. Don't leave your crayons all over the place." I didn't know it then, but that was the most praise I'd get from him for years. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't kind either. He was just there, like the refrigerator, always humming in the background. Necessary, dependable, but never warm. My mother passed away when I was 10. After that, our house became even quieter. Dad didn't talk about her. Didn't talk about much at all. He made breakfast. I went to school. He worked, studied. We existed beside each other like shadows, cast by the same lamp but never touching. In high school, I got accepted into a regional science competition. I came home bursting with pride. "Good," he said. "Let it go to your head." Senior year, I got a scholarship to a university 2 states away. He helped pack my bags, loaded the car, and gave me a firm handshake before I drove. Off! "No, I'm proud of you. No, take care. No, I love you. Just call if something breaks." So I didn't call much. Years passed, I became a teacher, got married, had a son of my own. Tried to be a different kind of father. I told my son, Jacob, I loved him every single day. I showed up to his games, helped him with homework, told him his art was brilliant even when it wasn't. But with my own father, things remained distant. We spoke once every few months, short calls about whether oil changes or property tax. He never visited. I stopped asking. And then 2 winters ago, I got the call. My father had collapsed in his garage. Heart attack. Didn't make it. I drove back to my hometown, the snow crunching beneath my tires as if it too felt the weight of grief. I stood in the house I grew up in, now eerily still. Everything was just as I remembered: his boots by the door, the smell of motor oil in the air, the same calendar from last year still hanging. There were no letters, no notes left behind. It's just a will that left the house to me and an envelope of utility bills on the counter. I thought that was it. That was how our story ended, till I found the letter. It was a week later. I was cleaning out the garage. In an old toolbox, beneath a tray of rusted bolts, I found a crumpled manila envelope. My name was on it. No stamp, no date, just my name. Inside, a single piece of paper, handwritten in blocky, uneven script. "Dear Daniel, I don't know if I'll ever send this. Probably won't. I've never been good with words. But I watched you drive away to college that morning, and something inside me wanted to shout. I wanted to tell you how proud I was. How amazed I've always been by your mind, your heart, your stubborn, quiet strength. I just didn't know how. I didn't say much growing up because my father didn't either. His love was in the roof over our heads and the food on the table. That's how I thought it was supposed to be. But watching you become the man you are, it made me wish I'd done more. I remember when your mother died and I saw you cry alone in your room. I wanted to go in, to hold you, to say it would be okay. But I stood outside the door like a coward. I'm sorry. You deserved more from me. You always did. If you're reading this, I hope you know, even if I never said it, even if I was too proud or too scared, I loved you. I love you still. Dad, I read that letter 3 times. First, in stunned silence. The second, with tears streaming down my face. The third, whispering the words aloud as if reading them to the ghost of a man I'd never truly known. That night, I sat at the kitchen table, his kitchen table, holding the letter like it might vanish if I let go. I thought about every time I needed his love and didn't get it. And now, here it was, just decades late. I don't know if that letter forgave everything, but it gave me something I never expected. A reason, not an excuse, but a window. Didn't know how. And maybe, just maybe, he had tried in the only way he knew how. After the funeral, I brought the letter home. I framed it not to glorify the past, but to remind myself that silence doesn't always mean absence, and that sometimes love takes the long road. I read it to Jacob one night. He was 13, curious, and just beginning to ask the tough questions about family. He cried. Then he hugged me and said, "You're not like him." "Ah," I replied, "but I understand him now. That makes me want to be better." Not all stories have a dramatic ending. Some just leave you with a folded letter and a choice. To carry the silence forward or to break it. I chose to break it, because sometimes healing doesn't come from what's said, but from what's finally heard. And maybe that letter was never meant to be sent. Maybe it was meant to be found when I was ready to read it. Not every father says I love you out loud. Not every family knows how to speak in feelings. But love, even unspoken, has a way of surviving in the quiet. And sometimes it takes a forgotten letter to finally hear it. Are there words you've left unsaid? Maybe today's the day to say them.
Subscribe for more real stories that touch the heart.